Добре,
Здравейте.
and welcome back to our little Bulgarian adventure.
Yep, we think we're past, hopefully, the worst of winter. It started to warm up a bit.
Yes, we've had a couple of days of sunshine.
Yep, the snow's all gone, and temperatures, we're told, are rising.
Yes, reached double figures.
Double figures, and overnight, not going below freezing. So,
Yay!
yes, hopefully, it's the build up towards summer. We'll see. Last week we apologised for the background noises of the buzzing of chainsaws and the barking of dogs. Well, as we told you then, we're having some trees taken down. Well, this is what they did. So these are the trees at the end of the house that are being sorted out. We've got some little spindly growths which are being taken first. The ones that are particularly concerning are the ones very close to the end of the house, which are leaning over our wall and over our roof. They're all going to be thinned out. We've got a couple of fellas here who know what they're doing, armed with their chainsaws, and off they go. So here again you can see the height of the trees compared to the house. If we get a strong northerly wind blow through here, there's every chance those trees could come down onto the house, which is why we're getting this done. Hopefully once it's done we'll have less trees. There'll still be some trees there, but there'll be a lot more under control and easy to keep tabs on. So we'll just keep our eye on exactly what's happening. So we've left 3 of the trees from this cluster. They're all growing in different directions, and that'll give us a reasonable amount of shade in the summer. There's been a lot of thinning out, a lot of reducing, so we should be good now. The house should be protected for a few more years. Here are some of the smaller branches that have been cut off. They've all been stacked up. We'll go through those, trim them down, take the usable wood, burn the rest. And here's some of the larger bits that have been cut into hopefully manageable lengths for Max and I to move into the barn. That'll start our firewood for next year collection. We've also had the tree at the end of the barn removed. That was a particularly tricky one, which I wasn't looking forward to doing myself. So I'm glad that's gone. But it does reveal the damage on the top of the barn. That's going to have to be looked at and sorted out. Yet another thing to add to my endless list of jobs.
On Tuesday it was Valentine's Day.
Yes, it was. I hope you all celebrated appropriately.
And in Bulgaria it had another meaning as well.
Yes, it was Trifon zarazan day.
Which is the day of Saint Trifon,
Yes.
zarazan, who is the patron saint of
Grape growers, vineyard keepers, winemakers.
and traditionally the day when they start beginning pruning their vines.
On Trifon day, they prune the vines for the first time of the year.
And have various celebrations in different ways across Bulgaria.
Yes. I also had to get some more materials for continuing the kitchen renovation.
Yes, so on Wednesday you set off with your usual trepidation.
Yes, I did a list of the bits I needed in Bulgarian, so I could just hand it across. The lady in the shop actually spoke English, so that wasn't the problem. My main problem was the delivery driver. The company I went to don't have their own delivery drivers. They have some men outside with flatbed trucks who will drive you around if you pay them enough money. But he didn't speak any English at all. I my Bulgarian is limited, but we got through with a mixture of hand gestures and keep repeating the same word over and over again. But the result was I got the materials I needed for continuing to do the work in the kitchen, and this is what I've done. So we left our kitchen renovation at the stage where I'd repaired the ceiling, put a floor in the cellar above the ceiling so it's safe to walk on from up there. I've also put these polystyrene insulation panels in just to fill up a bit of the space. What I next have to do is work out where the suspended ceiling is going, and also where the sockets are going and their associated junction boxes, so that I can channel in the cables behind the tracking for the suspended ceiling. It's easy to do it without the suspended ceiling track in the way, so that would be the plan. I've done my shopping. I've got the tyres, I've got the plasterboard, I've got the insulation. I've also got the metal tracking and the metal supports that go across the middle. That's all ready to go. I've also got all the electrical stuff, so I've now got everything I need to carry on. So let's work out where these things are going. This is the beam that runs along the front of the building that I had to replace and repair. There's quite a large gap behind it that you can see, and you can see daylight through there. So before I do anything else, I want to fill that up. The way I'm going to do it is with the squirty foam stuff. It's not structural, it's basically just to fill the air gap. So that's my next job. While I'm waiting for the foam to set behind the cardboard, I've set up my laser level so that I can see where the track needs to go all the way around the room. It's quite bright, but you can just about make out the faint red line. I should really have bought a green one, but it's what I've got. So I'm going to go along there, mark the level with a pencil so that it's on the wall. I don't have to struggle to see the red lines. Now that we've got the line marked for where the tracking's going, we also know where our plugs are, sockets are going to be going. So we need to channel out so that the cables can go behind the tracking and into distribution boxes or junction boxes. So what I'm going to do now is just mark where it's going so I know where to channel out. We're only doing the very first bit of channeling out because we'll do the rest when we get round to doing the walls. That goes there. So there's the line that I've marked, ready for channeling out. You'll see it goes below the level of the tracking, that's so that the cable can go behind it and out the wall. I can then, once I've got the tracking up, I can fit the cabling. So we have the foam, expanding foam behind those cardboard sheets. It was just to hold it in place. Although I might leave them in place, there's no real reason to take them down. But I've also started to put the cables to trunking so that they've got a bit of protection from potential mouse damage. Not that we're expecting any, but it's always best to be safe rather than sorry. So I'm working my way around the room, trunking in the cables. I've now got to this junction box, which is cables for the light switch and the light fittings, and also our outside light. But we're changing from one fitting to two fittings in here, and we'll be going from a single switch to a double switch. So I've got to turn the power off, sort out the electrics here before I can carry on with the rest of the electrics. So we've now got our two light fittings in place. They operate independently of each other, with a double switch next to the door here for us to turn on either the kitchen end or the corridor end. I've also completed the trunking in of the cables around the top. The cables are in place. They're routed through the channeling, so they will go underneath the tracking once that's in place. And the cables have been connected with the connection blocks. That way, as soon as we're ready to go, they'll go into the distribution boxes, which will be drilled into the wall, and the cables will run down the wall to the sockets. So the next job is to treat these beams with a wood preservative and repellent for beetles, woodworm, that sort of thing. Once that's done, I can put the trunking up, put the beams up, insulation up, and then the plasterboard. That will then give us a ceiling, but that's a job for next week.
Yeah, and as an extra little bonus on the way home, you made a big discovery.
Yes, we've been dogged, plagued, haunted perhaps, by a rather large pothole that's on the main route from the factory that makes the furniture at the top of the road down to our house, which means we've been taking an extra kilometre or two detour to avoid it.
Yes, we've had to go through the village for the last year or so because our car wasn't capable of negotiating this pothole, which went the whole width of the road.
And it was about 4 feet across. And you had to drive on the field next to the road to get round it. But of course, in this weather, that's very slippery and muddy, so I didn't fancy doing that either. But on the way back from getting materials, I thought, he's in a big high clearance flatbed truck. I'll take him down the most direct route, and they filled in the pothole.
Yeah, it's no longer there. We can use the road again.
It's not the most professional job, but it has been filled.
Yes.
So we can now drive on it. So that will save us 2 or 3 minutes every time we go into Targovishti.
I think more than that.
Very possibly, yes.
Being a little more housebound the last week or two, it helped us improve our Bulgarian a little bit.
A little bit.
And Adam's decided to add a new feature to our videos.
Yes, we're going to teach you a Bulgarian sentence every week. Something that hopefully will be useful until you can actually speak the language.
We're still learning.
We are. But this week I've got a very useful one for you. It goes like this. Izvinete, as some Anglicanin.
Excuse me, I'm an Englishman.
Говоря, малко български.
I speak a little Bulgarian.
No ni some много, добре.
But not so well.
So there you go. There is a slight caveat to that. If Lynn was saying it, she wouldn't be an Anglicanin.
No, I did spend the first year I was here telling people I was an Anglicanin.
Which means English man.
Whereas I should say Anglichanka.
English woman.
But we only found that out when we started going to our lessons.
And people were looking at us a little strangely, but we...
Yeah. Well, me.
They do that anyway. So nothing new there.
Yeah. So I now say I'm an English woman rather than an English man.
And on the subject of learning to speak Bulgarian, it's worth checking out this video from the Shark's Den. They're telling their adventures of learning Bulgarian, the various things they try, some of their mishaps. I'll leave a link there-ish, so you can check them out. And it's also worth seeing what they're doing to their house and their adventures as well.
Yeah, So please do give them a watch.
Definitely. It's well worth it.
Yeah, they're a nice couple.
Yes. And finally, it's last, but it's certainly not least, today is a very important day.
Yeah, it's our youngest daughter's Keira's birthday.
Happy birthday, Keira.
We hope you have a great day.
I'm sure you will.
And a relaxing one. For
And
once
I
you're
might
not
ring
working.
you later. I might ring you later.
You might.
Yeah.
But have a great day.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. So, I think that's probably about it for us this week.
Yep, I can't think of anything else.
No, we just carried on doing the other bits and pieces we usually do, on top of what you've already seen. And we'll continue to do that next week.
So until then,
It's time to say,
stay safe.
be well.
Do skoro.
Do skoro.